Welcome to the AXA Engineers Podcast, episode 21. Today we'll be discussing the topic covered in the video, the exciting world of civil engineering outsourcing and how it's evolving to meet the demands of modern project development. But before we dive deep into this fascinating topic, remember to hit that follow button and leave us a comment. We love hearing your thoughts and questions. Okay, let's unpack this. So, anyone working in civil engineering today knows firms are, they're constantly juggling some pretty big challenges. We're talking intense project demands, right? Getting more complex all the time. Then you've got in-house teams hitting capacity limits, like constantly. And there's always that need, that critical need for specialized skills that maybe aren't on the payroll full time. Our source material today really digs into this reality, framing it as this major hurdle that innovative solutions like what AXA Engineers offers are trying to solve.
Exactly. And what the source highlights is, it's the sheer increase in complexity. It's exponential. We're way past just designing simple roads or basic utilities anymore. Think about intricate urban infrastructure, huge residential developments, hundreds of acres sometimes, or these super specialized commercial sites. Each one has unique geotechnical stuff, hydrology, environmental factors. It puts enormous pressure on firms. Really unprecedented pressure. It's not just about being on time and budget now. There's this expectation for incredible precision, technical sophistication, adaptability, and the traditional ways of doing things. They're just straining under that pressure.
Right. And that perfectly sets up the mission for this deep dive. We look closely at source material that really lays out these common, often, let's be honest, frustrating challenges that civil engineering firms face day in, day out. Our goal isn't just to list problems, though. It's to explore how a really strategic approach to civil engineering outsourcing, and specifically how AXA Engineers positions their model, isn't just presented as a quick fix, but more like a solid path to getting more efficient, making project delivery way more reliable, and paving the way for real, sustainable growth.
That brings up a really good question right away. What does strategic civil engineering outsourcing actually mean here, especially when talking about AXA engineers? It's super important to grasp that we're not talking about just, offloading basic drafting to whoever bids lowest. The source really emphasizes this is about fundamentally redefining partnership and value. With a company like AXA Engineers and the material notes, they have this proven track record. Over 15 years, it's portrayed more like building a highly integrated extension of your team. They bring specialized knowledge, real capabilities that can genuinely transform how you execute complex projects, not just, adding body.
Okay, let's get right into the thick of it then. Let's explore these unavoidable hurdles. Picture the scenario, and I bet a lot of you listening have been there, or can easily imagine it. You've got a critical deadline breathing down your neck. Complex land development project, maybe a big residential community, multi-phase, or a tricky commercial site. Your in-house team, great people, but they're maxed out. Stretch thin across maybe 5 other projects, then bam. You suddenly need very specific, high-level civil 3D expertise. The advanced stuff, parametric modeling, complex site analysis, requires a really deep skill set. And it's just not available internally without pulling someone crucial off another vital project. The source material highlights how, in that moment, delays. They don't just seem possible, they look almost inevitable. And that puts the timeline, the budget, even client relationships at risk. It's that capacity crunch meeting the specialized skill gap head on.
Yeah, and the source material really digs into that. It makes it clear this isn't just needing another drafter, an extra pair of hands. The insight is that it's about a fundamental gap in specialized knowledge and needing advanced technical support that goes way beyond basic drafting. For anyone not deep in it daily, Civil 3D. It's powerful software, designing roads, grading, drainage, utilities. It needs advanced modeling, sophisticated analysis, knowing all the local rules inside out. So firms in that spot don't just need a drafter, they need a partner.
Right, someone who gets the deep details of Civil 3D, understands the specific project, needs complex cut and fill, maybe stormwater design, tricky utility layouts, and can deliver with precision, efficiency, and, importantly, accountability. The source shows this operational reality is super common. Overlapping deadlines, diverse technical needs, commercial plans, huge residential developments, each demands precise execution. And that often means very specific, sometimes rare, know-how.
Absolutely. The pressure is immense, and the source underscores the high stakes involved. So you've got this dilemma. The project manager realizes, okay, this new critical project needs those civil 3D skills, urgently. But the firm's only expert. Totally swamped, maybe leading another key project or dealing with an unexpected major revision. They're facing these immediate high-stakes choices. No easy way out. Really unenviable spot.
And the material we looked at details how those choices have big consequences, often severe ones. Option 1, delay delivery. That immediately risks client trust race. Could damage your firm's reputation. It's a competitive market. Plus, you might face real financial penalties for missing milestones or dragging the project out. Option 2, stretch the existing team even thinner. But the source points out that risks burnout, a clear drop in quality across all their projects, not just this one. And often that leads to the same financial penalties anyway, just through rework and errors down the line. What's fascinating is how these immediate sort of tactical decisions, they ripple outwards. Long-term strategic impacts on reputation, financial health, even the ability to win future work. The source shows overburdened staff don't just make mistakes. They get stressed, turnover goes up, which just makes the resource shortage worse. You lose that institutional knowledge and the next project becomes even tougher.
Which leads us right into this deeper look at what the source calls the hidden costs of doing it all in-house. The core challenge, as AXA Engineers seems to frame it, is scaling that specialized expertise when you need it, but without racking up unsustainable overhead. It's a tightrope walk, especially for mid-sized firms. Let's dig into those hidden costs because they're sneaky, right? More than just salary.
Right.
Imagine needing that civil 3D guru for a 6-month intense project. But after that, demand drops off. If you keep them in-house full-time, you're paying 12 months of salary, benefits, training, even when maybe only half their time is billable on that specific skill. Our sources suggest the total cost for a full-time skilled civil 3D engineer, including software licenses, which for civil 3D are thousands per seat annually.
Oh yeah, easily.
Plus the hardware, office space, HR overhead, it could easily top $150,000, maybe even $200,000 a year. And that's before you even factor in recruiting costs, ongoing training to keep them cutting edge for complex subdivision designs or whatever's next. This isn't just a budget strain. It's capital that's frozen. Can't use it for R&D, business development, or strengthening other core skills you need daily.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, the source material poses a really critical question. For many mid-sized firms, especially with fluctuating project loads, is it actually practical or even financially smart to keep every single possible specialized skill on staff all year round? The implication is probably not. Increasingly, no. And beyond the direct money aspect, there's that impact on the existing team. Our sources confirm it. Employee burnout becomes very real. Chronic high stress, increased turnover. It's a consequence. These aren't just HR issues. They disrupt project delivery, mess with timelines, and lead to a real drop in overall quality, which ironically just makes the original resource shortage worse and future projects harder. And this is exactly where that strategic approach to civil engineering outsourcing, specifically with a partner like AXA Engineers, really starts to look like a viable long-term fix.
Okay, so given those hurdles, capacity, skills, hidden costs, the limits of doing everything in-house naturally push firms towards civil engineering outsourcing. Seems logical. But the source material points out that the conventional way, just, offloading basic drafting tasks, seldom fixes the real problem. Often it just sort of shifts the problem, like painting over a crack instead of fixing the foundation.
Precisely. The material we reviewed draws a very sharp line here. The main issue isn't just a lack of bodies to make drawings. That's often just a symptom. The real root cause, as AXA Engineers puts it, is that gap in specialized knowledge and analytical capability. When you hire external drafters in that traditional transactional way, they often work in a vacuum.
Right.
Little project context, maybe no deep understanding of your specific standards, no direct line to the lead engineer. This isolation, it breeds errors, omissions. Things just don't align with the overall design intent. And what happens then, as the source details, your quality control cycles get longer and longer, completely eats up any efficiency you hope to gain. Your lead engineers, the ones who should be focusing on high-level design, innovation, client stuff, they end up spending way too much extra time correcting work, clarifying things, fixing drawings that miss the mark on project goals or local rules.
So that's a transactional trap, trading one set of headaches for another, potentially more frustrating set. What else does the source say about the deeper issues this kind of basic outsourcing creates? Beyond just rework?
Right, it gets into what it calls the disconnect problem. And this is more than just a few missed emails. It taps into leaders' real, valid concerns about losing control over the project, about critical communication just breaking down, and maybe the worst part, seeing their quality standards get compromised. The core question the material raises, can an external team miles away truly function like a seamless part of your in-house staff? And for those traditional civil engineering outsourcing models, the answer is often, well, no, not really. There are structural barriers, misaligned working hours, blocking real-time chats, different professional cultures causing misunderstandings, incompatible workflows creating friction. These aren't small things. They actively disrupt collaboration. They cause major inefficiencies. Relying on just sending files back and forth asynchronously with minimal context, it creates bottlenecks, miscommunication, delays in getting answers. And yeah, more rework, it erodes project time, and crucially, it erodes trust.
And the bottom line, as the source explains it, is the burden of managing all that often falls right back on the client firm. So instead of freeing up your key people, you're now basically managing this external team as an extra job, which totally undermines the whole point of civil engineering outsourcing in the first place. It feels like you're just adding complexity, not reducing it.
Exactly. You're not really solving the core issue.
Okay, so this is where the source material really positions AXA engineers as introducing a genuine paradigm shift. They're described as moving past that old transactional model towards what they call strategic integration. It's framed as a scenario where civil engineering design support isn't just helpful, it's actually essential for a firm to thrive today.
Yeah, the document spells this out as a fundamental rethinking of civil engineering outsourcing. Instead of just basic drafting services, which, like we said, often miss the mark, AXA Engineers' design support model is shown to deliver targeted technical expertise, advanced analytical skills, strong project management solutions, exactly when and where you need them most. So firms get immediate access to a team that's not just got the licensed software, but knows best practices inside out, and crucially, can integrate smoothly into the client's existing workflows. The emphasis isn't just on plugging a capacity gap, it's about building a reliable bridge between your team's capabilities and the project demands.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Based on the source material, AXA Engineers seems to redefine civil engineering outsourcing to hit multiple pain points at once. Not just skill shortages, but also scalability, overall project efficiency, and keeping quality super high, all in one integrated package. It's presented as a much more holistic way to tackle those really complex operational challenges firms face.
Right. And that design support difference, as the material lays it out, is what allows for a truly integrated partnership. This model, the one AXA Engineers champions, is specifically built to address those common doubts about civil engineering outsourcing. We talked about control, communication, quality. By delivering sustained value, not just project-by-project fixes, to both the project teams and the end clients, it aims to turn what some see as a necessary evil into a real competitive edge. The source suggests this approach really sets the stage for showing how integrated partnership can turn those persistent industry headaches into real opportunities for growth, for innovation, for happier clients.
Okay, let's talk specifics then. Building bridges, not walls, as the section title suggests. A huge concern with civil engineering outsourcing, especially across time zones, is communication. Always. How does the source explain AXA engineers getting around that? How do they make collaboration feel seamless, not like passing batons in the dark?
This is flagged in the source as a key differentiator for AXA engineers. They use this unique dual-team, two-shift operating model. What that actually means is their teams are set up specifically to have significant overlap with U.S. working hours. It's not accidental, it's designed in. It allows for real-time communication. For critical design reviews, right? For solving technical problems as they pop up, not 12 hours later. For urgent coordination during crunch times. Imagine needing a review done at 4 p.m. California time. With this Follow the Sun model, AXA's team in Vietnam can start the next phase first thing their morning. That can literally shave a day or more off the project compared to waiting a full 24-hour cycle. The source stresses this minimizes downtime, huge value today, and speeds up project timelines. Super critical for tight deadlines or complex multi-phase jobs. That operational agility. It's highlighted as a core advantage for AXA engineers in civil engineering outsourcing. Keeps projects moving continuously.
That definitely sounds like a smart way to handle the time difference. But, okay, beyond just being available, how does the source say AXA engineers make sure their team really understands a client's specific standards, local rules, unique ways of working? It's about alignment, not just availability.
Right. And that's covered by what the source describes as AXA's deep commitment to professional development and cultural alignment. Their engineers actually participate in regular visits to the U.S., and this isn't just tourism. The material frames it as immersive on-the-ground experience. They get direct exposure to client-specific standards, learn the ins and outs of local rules in different states, internalize workflow preferences. This direct contact, the source emphasizes, gives the AXA team a really nuanced grasp of both the technical stuff and the sort of interpersonal communication styles common in U.S. firms, which makes collaboration smoother and deliverables much more accurate. It's about bridging those cultural and technical gaps proactively. Plus, the source mentions AXA's internal strength being named a great place to work with a 97% employee satisfaction rate. That's huge. It points to a stable, motivated team, which is critical for consistent project work and reliable long-term partnerships in civil engineering outsourcing. Low turnover means that knowledge stays put.
That's a really strong point about stability and motivation. It says a lot about consistency. But then how do they ensure quality and processes are consistent across all projects, especially when working with different clients who have their own ways? How do you standardize excellence without being generic?
So the source material explains that a core part of AXA's integrated model is developing tailored standard operating procedures, SOPs, for each client individually. They don't just use generic templates, which often don't quite fit. Instead, AXA works really closely with each client to align processes, integrate with the specific software your firm uses, set quality benchmarks that match your specific needs and project types. So, for instance, if you have a specific way you manage layers in Civil 3D or a certain method for detention pond calcs, AXA's SOPs will reflect that, exactly that. These custom SOPs create unified workflows, clear communication protocols from day one, which drastically cuts down rework and misunderstandings. The result, highlighted by the source, is a much more predictable project environment. Every one client team, AXA team, is on the same page, using the same playbook. Leads to smoother, more efficient, higher quality civil engineering outsourcing delivery.
And the big one, especially today, data security, intellectual property. When you're looking at civil engineering outsourcing, how does the source material say AXA engineers handles that critical piece?
Yeah, non-negotiable. The source outlines AXA engineers' major investments in tech and infrastructure here. First, they leverage Vietnam's largest portfolio of Civil 3D licenses. That's not trivial. It ensures seamless file compatibility for U.S. clients, no weird format issues. Plus, all work AXA does is on fully licensed software. That's fundamental for project security and meeting international standards. Then, to really protect client IP, the source details these comprehensive, multi-layered data security measures, anti-leakage protocols, all designed to meet both U.S. domestic and international legal standards, safeguarding IP at every single step. Think secure file transfers, tightly restricted data access, robust network security, all aimed at preventing any unauthorized access or breaches.
That commitment to security described in the sources, it's massive, absolutely critical when you're considering civil engineering outsourcing, because your IP, your designs, client data, unique processes, that's often your biggest competitive edge. Knowing that's rigorously protected is fundamental for building the kind of deep trust needed for these strategic long-term partnerships.
Couldn't agree more. It has to be there.
Okay, so we've covered the immediate benefits, the operational mechanics, but the source material really stresses that AXA Engineers' model is built for the long haul. Sustainability, long-term value, way beyond just plugging temporary gaps. This is the long game in civil engineering outsourcing.
Absolutely. The material explains it as enabling clients to genuinely extend their in-house capabilities, not just patch them up temporarily. You get a dedicated, well-trained team that deeply understands your business, your technical needs, your methods. And the invaluable part, your core in-house team gets free up. They can focus on high-level strategy, crucial client relationships, driving innovation, while AXA's design support team handles the detailed technical execution reliably, accountably. The source suggests this foundation leads to partnerships delivering measurable benefits over years, not just months. AXA Engineers leverages over 15 years in the U.S. outsourcing market, as the sources state, to provide quantifiable value, building relationships based on trust, dedication, and really knowing what the client needs. It goes way beyond just one successful project.
And circling back to IP security in that long-term context, it's crucial, right? Not just for one project, but for the whole partnership lifespan.
Definitely. As the source details, protecting IP designs, data, processes is top of mind for any leader in an external collaboration. It's the core competitive asset. AXA Engineers, according to our review, handles this proactively. Multi-layered security, anti-leakage protocols align with U.S. and international standards. It's framed as a robust, ongoing framework, not just a one-off checklist, protecting assets at every stage. The security posture supports compliance, but also enables innovation without constant worry about risk. That foundation of trust, AXA emphasizes, is essential for any partnership meant to last and deliver real value in civil engineering outsourcing. Another key long-term benefit detailed in the sources, significant cost optimization through what they call institutional knowledge. Over 15 years, AXA builds this deep understanding of each client's standards, workflows, even those unique local jurisdictional quirks that vary so much. This familiarity isn't just nice to have, it measurably cuts down onboarding time for new projects. Huge efficiency gain, maybe cuts setup time by 70% or more compared to starting fresh with someone new. It means the team delivers accurate, compliant work right from the get-go. Slashes startup costs, speeds up delivery time.
So the reduction in errors and rework isn't luck. The source indicates it's a direct result of AXA engineers getting better and better at anticipating client needs, integrating seamlessly over time. That's a key difference from transactional civil engineering outsourcing, where every new project feels like ground zero, losing time to rebriefing. Here, that built-up expertise streamlines everything.
Exactly. And a huge driver of the sustained value highlighted in the source is the team stability at AXA. Those really high employee satisfaction rates, 97% to 100%, mean a dedicated, engaged workforce. Stability means low turnover. The same experienced people stay on your projects longer. They deepen their knowledge of your systems, your preferences. That directly fuels a more reliable, efficient, productive civil engineering outsourcing partnership for clients. Fewer disruptions, predictable delivery, consistent high quality, hard to get with revolving door resources. Ultimately, the payoff of a long partnership, like the 15-year ones AXA describes, shows up in efficiency and risk mitigation. Leaders get back invaluable time and resources. They can focus on strategic moves, new markets, new tech, next-gen solutions, all while being confident their core design support is handled expertly by a team that gets their business and protects their interests.
Which lets firms tackle those persistent operational challenges with more agility, more focus. It opens up entirely new opportunities for growth, for innovation that might have seemed impossible before. So the big question is, what does all this mean for your firm looking ahead? All right, let's recap this deep dive. Our look at the source material suggests AXA Engineers aims to really transform civil engineering outsourcing, moving it beyond just a task you hand off into a real strategic partnership. One designed to tackle those common headaches, capacity limits, skill gaps, project complexity head-on, and unlock real, measurable value. Efficiency, quality security, and importantly, long-term growth. It's presented as an approach built to inspire confidence and trust.
Precisely. The integrated model described by AXA Engineers seems designed to empower firms, not just to keep up, but to actively compete and innovate in this fast-changing industry. It's about laying a stronger foundation for whatever comes next, not just fixing yesterday's problems.
So, thinking about your own firm's future, this deep dive suggests maybe rethinking civil engineering outsourcing isn't just about offloading work. Maybe it's about strategically empowering your whole operation. It leads us with a question to ponder. Imagine a future where your firm's capacity feels almost limitless, where specialized expertise is always right there when you need it, and your project delivery isn't just efficient, but strategically geared for innovation. What kind of truly groundbreaking projects could you take on then? What new frontiers could your civil engineering firm really explore? If you're ready to potentially redefine your operational reality and maybe secure a partnership that delivers measurable returns for years, well, the source suggests AXA Engineers is ready to connect. The idea seems to be, don't just meet deadlines, shatter expectations. That's all for this deep dive. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope this exploration into strategic civil engineering outsourcing gave you some valuable food for thought, maybe sparked some ideas for your own firm. Definitely remember to follow us for more insights like this, and please share your thoughts, your questions in the comments below. We really do read them. Until next time, keep building and keep innovating.